It is party time, Mom. We want to welcome you to another episode of the Chad Prather Show. We're here in the mothership, which is Studio 22. Candace, we got to get my mother on this show.
She's been the toughest guest we've ever had to book. She's just so busy. We've never been able to get a hold of her. She actually canceled her last trip. I bought her a first-class plane ticket from Georgia to come out here and hang for a few days. Just my dear mother. And she was scared we were going to put her on this show. And I said, well, your fears are justified. We were going to tie you to this chair. The puppet master Mark Candice, the queen of the Ethiopians, at the helm, driving us into the nether regions of all things scary in the world we're living in. We're living in a world where Andrew Cuomo just will not resign. He won't do it. He still has work to do in New York. That was the announcement he made at the press conference yesterday. And anyway, Natalie, we aren't surprised, are we?
He still has work to do.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Get up more nursing homes or what? What are we going to do?
A lot more women out there to grab or touch or...
I mean,
and all that stuff to me is garbage. I mean, the stuff
deflection.
that he did is so benign compared to other allegations that are out there against other people. But they're doing their best to. I wouldn't want to be in his shoes because they're devouring their own. Over at the pub, of course, Party Foul Steve, Hot News Natalie, and back for a second day, Doug Billings, the host of The Right Side with Doug
I thought
Billings.
it was John Lithgow for a minute.
Yeah. Wow, I see that now. Look at you.
Yeah, I get Lee Majors a lot.
Oh, yes!
Okay. Oh, don't try to sexy it up, man.
He's sexy.
Yeah.
We went from John Lithgow to Lee Majors.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Right on.
I can see both of those.
Yeah, I can see both of those too. I'd go with Lee Majors.
I do all the time, yes. Between John Lithgow and Lee Majors, come on.
Yeah, exactly. That's like, you look like John Cleese and Tom Selleck.
Now, Natalie, if you close your eyes, I look like Brad Pitt. I'm just saying.
There you go. Party Foul Steve looks like Dave Grohl.
Yes.
Yeah. In the hot seat today, we got Craig Sawman Sawyer. Thanks for being on the show, man.
No, it's great to be here with you, Chad.
Dude, I'm glad we got you here because we tried everything we could to not do it. Sent you to the wrong address, had the wrong date, and anyway, you worked it out. Welcome to Texas, the free state of Texas, man. We're supposedly wide open now, thanks to Greg Abbott. We'll see how that stuff plays out. How's Arizona been for you guys with the whole COVID thing?
COVID, yeah, they're kind of scared there. They're bought into the whole COVID thing. You know, of course, we've got supposedly a Republican governor, but it doesn't act like it. So you might as well be in California. We've got a lot of refugees from California there, but you know, I'm from Texas. This is my home.
Yeah.
My four great grandpappy was the second governor here. So all my family are just around Houston.
Yeah.
And I was sorry to hear about the freeze and the damage, the devastation that caused.
Yeah.
But
it was really bad. It caused a lot of damage. We just aren't built for that. You know? I mean, we're just not built for that kind of thing. Arizona would be the same way if something like that were to happen in a big way. We're just not ready. We're not equipped.
Yeah, well, you don't need that heavy equipment, all that, snow plows and all that, because it's what does it happen once every 5 or 10 years?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and this one was probably a once in a lifetime event. The way that thing came down, but a lot of folks, man, broken water pipes, crazy stuff. We were able to do a good thing. We were able to sell a lot of T-shirts to help the homeless. We put these mobile trailers out on the streets.
But that was twisted to evil.
Well, people tried to twist it, but they ripped off our shirt design. I know that. I already know what our next thing is going to be with these shirts, and it's got a lot to do with the Sawman here. We hadn't even talked about it yet. Let me tell you, I've just decided that everything we do now with our sales, everything is going to benefit somebody. It's going to benefit somebody. And your organization, which we're going to talk about in depth, Veterans for Child Rescue, the name says it all. This human trafficking thing that is just pandemic. You don't want to talk about pandemics. This is epidemic. It's huge. It's bigger than ever, the numbers that are there. And you having been a Marine and a Navy SEAL, and with your training, I don't know how you don't go full mercenary on some of these guys. And you're doing great work.
It's an upsetting type of abuse to witness and hear from all the victims and deal with the perps. So dealing with the perps is actually the easiest part for me because I'm used to working in the counterterrorist realm. So a perp's a perp. bad guy's a bad guy to some extent, but hearing the stories of what the victims have gone through, man, that breaks my heart. I mean, I'm hardened combat veteran. I've been to 60 countries in service of my nation around the world, and that when I hear people describe what they were put through or what they witnessed to their siblings or other children around them have been put through, it's just, I'm like, I can't, this is my fight. I can't look away from this, and I have to alert the populace so that we can all stand up and do a little something to drive this from our nation, because this wickedness, this evil abuse has no place here. And we can describe a little bit of it without, making people want to end it all after here. Well, I don't want to depress people, but I do want to empower them, alerting them to the threat. We have to know before we can fight.
We're going to get into that today. I want to talk about it. We've talked about it many times on this show with many different guests, and it's a very big focus of ours. So welcome. And we're going to take a quick break. But before that, a million reasons to be stressed out there these days. We're going to tell you a few of them today. But stressing out about your male pattern baldness and receding hairline doesn't have to be one of them. The good news is Keeps can help. Keeps offers the same doctor-recommended, FDA-approved hair loss treatment, but they're the generic versions, so you only pay about half the cost. It's a great deal. And one more thing you're going to love about Keeps, you can do everything online. You answer a few easy questions, snap a couple of pictures of your hair, and a licensed doctor is going to review your info and recommend the right hair loss treatment for you. Then it's shipped to your door discreetly, and you don't need to make trips to the doctor or the drugstore when you can do it all online from your couch. So I'm going to get you started with a special discount. Go to KEEPS.com, keeps.com/loss. They'll give you 50% off your first order of hair loss treatments. That's keeps.com/loss. Go there today. We're going to be right back. Doug, what do you, turn that microphone on over there, buddy. What do you make of this whole, everybody knows I liked Trump, right? I liked Trump. Trump did a lot in regards to fighting human trafficking. And now Biden comes in and reverses a lot of that stuff. And the media just sweeps it under the rug, right? A lot of these policies, a lot of these bills. I mean, how do you overturn human trafficking?
It's one of the greatest tragedies of our time that he's done that. I think since he's taken office, there's, if my memory is correct, 75, 85 executive orders with the stroke of a pen, undoing everything that President Trump has done, not because there's substance or good reason for it, simply because it was done by Trump. And I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but President Trump has done more, did more for combating human trafficking, child abuse, and so forth than any other president in the United States. Yeah,
and I can remember when they had, when the Office of the President was having a press conference about some of these issues and some of the things that they were putting into law and to practice, and the media completely ignored it.
Right.
Like I saw the room, and there was nobody in the room. Well, and it's such a powerful topic, an important topic.
As we said before, and I've told you this before, and I don't refer to them as Democrats. The Democrats don't exist anymore. They're commu-socialists.
Yeah.
And they have this group of people they allow to come across the border in everything they do, not just child trafficking. They're the electoral base of the Communist-Socialist Party. So they're going to let them come in because they're all a vote. They all want them to vote. And that's, I think, that's at the crux, at least part of the reason why they're letting them come in and why we have these problems.
And they're bringing a lot of evil across the border with them.
Much evil. Satan is alive in all of this, yes.
Is that child trafficking. We've had victims of human trafficking. We've had family members of human trafficking on the show. We've had people who fight against it. You, of course, Craig, you fight it. With
You've had one of my good friends, Yaku Buyans.
He's
a brother. He's a good man.
Love that dude, and such a good guy, and so passionate.
Yeah.
And
real deal.
Yaku's a brother. He's been on the show many, many times. People don't realize how easy. First of all, they don't realize how big of a business this is. Children have become a commodity, and they don't realize how easy this is to transact that business.
Yeah, it's dark. It's depressing for me being an American patriot, going and serving in my country, going around the world, 60 countries over the years.
Yeah.
And only to learn from a friend of mine in the CIA that just north of Houston was the hottest epicenter of child sex trafficking in the United States and learn how dark and abusive the crime really is, I felt like I got kicked in the gut, and then I got ticked off. I'm like, okay, what am I going to do about this? So my thing was, I need to compromise the enemy's mission. The predators, the child traffickers, enjoy the top cover of secrecy, and it's a domestic covert operation, and it's huge, $38 to $50 billion a year. Selling children in the United States, larger than all pro sports combined. So what does that say about our society, that our news media doesn't cover it, that they keep it quiet and let the crooks have the run of the game board? And I'm like, I'm going to wreck it. Yeah. And I'm coming. And that, boy, all hell broke loose when I threw my hat in the ring, because I think some people on the other side began starting to panic, because the intel guys that look over us on the darknet said, yeah, there was two main entities that really started panicking. And what are we going to do about Craig Sawyer? How are we going to silence his voice? And that's pretty much their response, is they've tried to silence me. Yeah. That's their counter to what I'm doing, and I'm trying to expose the threat, rip away their veil of secrecy, top cover, shine the light on it, and so that the American people can see, oh my God, they're hunting our children right here. And it's huge. Yeah. It's fastest growing criminal enterprise on earth, child sex trafficking. So something's clearly wrong. Yeah. If you have to take a diaper off of an infant to rape it, something is severely morally and mentally wrong there. And that's a hill I'll die on any day. Yeah. It's just the no-go. Our line, I was at the Alamo the other day, and I did a little video from there, but I'm like, man, this is a point from which our forefathers would not retreat out of principle. And I think the children have to be that way for us all. That's my commitment now. I'm drawing the line in front of the children, saying, hey, leave the children alone, man. My gosh. Any species, if you can't take care of your offspring, you're doomed as a species. I mean, that's just science, right? Yeah. Leave morality and decency out of it. I mean, if survival, you can't shatter and destroy your offspring like this. So how we got so far down this diabolical road is kind of a long story, but we try to tell a lot of it in our documentary, Contraland. And it's all about empowering the people so we can all unite, lock arms together, and stand up for a cause. It seems like such a no-brainer. Yeah, and folks go to veterans 4, the number 4, childrescue.com. Org. I always do that. .org, people. Don't listen to me. Go to the website. Natalie, they have there's a couple of things on that website that are powerful. One, they've got the trailer for the new documentary, Contraland. You watch that trailer, you'll want to watch the entire documentary. And I know what people think. They go, oh, I just can't watch it. It's just too, it makes me cringe. You need to cringe. People need to cringe. But that trailer is powerful. Just the stuff that's in the trailer, the testimonies and what people are saying, you begin to see how pervasive this depravity is. It's a horrible thing. Another thing they do is they've got, you talk about the perps, they've got the folks that they've busted. They got their mug shots on there. They got the information about them. You got to expose the cockroaches. Yeah. And you guys do that. Yeah. Factual evidence is key. I mean, again, their counter is to try to silence and discredit me. And so we just put all the arrest convictions and case numbers and mugshots right on our website on the arrests page. I love that. Go, hey, you can't overcome factual evidence. You can go to the courts and research it all you want to. You know, so it's there. I mean, we're effective. 100% conviction rate. I was that's a powerful number right there. I was talking to somebody about, and you came up in the conversation. We were talking about human trafficking, specifically child trafficking, and one lady spoke up and she said, "How do they do it? How do they stop them? How do they stop them? What is y'all's MO? What is the method?" Man, our method is growing so rapidly right now. I'll tell you the method that we've used until now, but what I'm so excited about is I've gotten connected to a group, very powerful group called the American Industrial Compact. Mm-hmm. And these are the big brains that I don't have any business being in the room with that create all of the technology that run our intelligence community, our DOD, and aerospace industries. And they're tired of submitting these inventions to protect you and me and mama, and only to have it go straight to China. I mean, immediately to China because of people like the Biden family and so many others who are sold out to hostile nation states. Yeah. And they're withholding some of these most powerful technologies right now, and not sure when to submit it until we patch our boat, the leaks in our national security.
Yeah.
And then it would actually do some good for us and not for China. And so they said, Craig, we're gonna allow you to utilize a lot of our new technologies. Mm-hmm. So imagine new horsepower and capability to investigate anybody to a degree that has not yet been possible. So NSA, CIA, FBI do not have this technology yet, and it's humbling to have access to. And I'm on a tour right now with law enforcement across the state of Texas, every major city and several small towns, doing liaison with all key law enforcement agencies, letting them know we got 23 investigators retired from every agency, 20 and 30-year retirees, and 30 analysts from intelligence agencies, completely background checked and vetted by our crew, with a full-time program manager that's a 31-year federal criminal investigator. And we are staged to run joint operations, and we mean business. We got a proven template. We had 23 predator arrests and warrants with a 100% conviction rate so far. We're just getting started. So that's before we had this huge body pool and technological boost that we've gotten recently. So we want to make use of it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that's coming. So until now, I went a long way around the horn, Chad. Sorry about that.
I like it. I like hearing it.
Yeah, until now we've run sting operations. So we've got investigators that we essentially coordinate with the district attorney, and we find one that means to prosecute, because not all of them do. Some of them are paid for by George Soros. He funds their campaigns, as Newt Gingrich admitted on Fox News, and Marie Harf shut him down, saying, Soros' name doesn't need to be in this. And Newt Gingrich said, why? He's funding it. What is it, verboten?
Yeah.
And they all stayed quiet. And finally, Candace Owens, I think she got prompted to move on. She goes, okay, I guess we should just move on. But they wouldn't talk about it.
Yeah.
But he's doing it. So a lot of DAs won't prosecute, judges won't prosecute child predator crimes. And so we find ones that will. We coordinate, we run sting operations. So we'll put out ads and coordinate with the predators and let them come running for whatever they want, and they'll express what they intend to do. And there's a lot of dance that goes on there, but we have the DA and prosecutors right with us, monitoring everything. And once we're sure we've got a solid conviction, we'll go ahead and follow through with the operation, make contact with the perpetrator, and once our team is done with all of our portion of it, I give a brevity code, as you saw some of in Contraland. I'll step aside, and the arrest team, law enforcement, will come in and cuff the predator and process him from there. So that's just kind of reset, repeat.
Now, what's happening to them after they're arrested and convicted?
Yeah, just like a typical arrest. They're taken down to the local station, and interviewed and processed. They're put in jail, and they're awaiting their trial.
Craig, I feel like that a lot of this they're hidden in plain sight, because I told you this even before we came on air, that 2 miles from my house and my best friend's neighborhood was a sex trafficking ring. There was a home there. It was coming. Now, people saw there's a lot of cars. There's a lot going on there, but I guess you kind of mind your own business. Ends up being this huge bust.
We've been told to mind our own business. We've been conditioned, like we've been conditioned to do so many other things, mind our own business. Meanwhile, this is happening right under our nose. And that was part of the motivation that caused me to settle on the documentary solution and say, look, man, we don't know. You don't know. I didn't even know. How can we fight something that we're not aware of? So I'm alerting the populace. I'm the Paul Revere banging the drum and saying it's happening in nice neighborhoods. It's happening in guttered neighborhoods. I mean, it's clapped out old motel rooms that run by gangbangers, all the way up to the elite, where we see Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and big New York mansions and islands, and flying the elite in from all over the world. We see, who is it? Harvey Weinstein in Hollywood. I've done about 10 years of film and television work, and I know a lot of stories. The casting couch is a real problem, and boy, God help you if you have a child in the entertainment industry, whether it's music or film and television, and they are preyed upon.
You're right about that. Yeah,
I even know guys, handsome, full-grown men, who are expected to have homosexual relationships with big producers to get the parts that they were after. So it's a rancid industry, and we don't know. And it's kept from us so that we can't vote and act in our own best interests. And that upsets me, man. I want you to know, Chad, and everybody else that I serve to protect, to know what our threats are, so that we can vote in our own best interest and act in our own best interest on the local level. I mean, and that deceit is, I feel it's hostile. You know, there's an energy, there's a positive and negative energy to things. There is such a thing as good, and there is such a thing as evil. Yeah. And those energies have sources. Yeah. You know, there's a good and evil, and we have to pick a side, man. You can't, you know, I look at some of these big actors and millions and millions of dollars and driving multi-million-dollar high-end sports cars, and everybody respects them so much, but then they're voicing their opinions, and they're using their platform and their money to promote child harm. They're setting children up, you know, to be raped and sold. And I'm like, what are you doing with all your wealth and power? If you're on the wrong side, I'll call you out and denounce you. Yeah. You know,
it's a terrible thing.
And I think just as a culture, we have to realize the level of deceit, the level of hostility that's been perpetrated against us, and kind of fight to dig for the truth and unite and realize that divided we fall. And we've been divided intentionally, and it's counterproductive for us all.
Chad, there's a woman in Texas, Vicki O'Brien, with Relevant Entertainment. She makes movies, and she came from Hollywood. She's right here in Dallas, does good work, and she speaks eloquently and passionately about that very thing.
Yeah. There's a lot we can get into and some solutions we're going to bring you as well, ways you can get involved. Before we take the break, be prepared for the next financial crisis. A lot of people aren't. The economy's already fragile, COVID-19. All the stuff going on around that doesn't take much to cause an avalanche in the stock market, run on banks, freezing of credit cards, general collapse of the financial system. Sounds like a Glenn Beck program right now. As we recently saw, the first thing you'll see are food shortages, and that's why you need to be prepared. Ask yourself, could you go weeks or even months without being able to buy food? I can. You got to stockpile. Emergency food supply. My Patriot Supply, America's leader in survival food, is where I go. Right now, save $70 off their popular 4-week food kit. Going to give you 2,000 calories a day. Stay fresh for up to 25 years, and it's good stuff. Go to preparewithchad.com. You're going to get the emergency food you need before the next emergency. It'll come quickly. That 4-week food kit is going to get there in just a few weeks. And a few days, rather. It was a few weeks when the crisis was going on, all the pandemic stuff, but now it's just a few days. Prepare for the unexpected. Preparewithchad.com. We'll be right back. All of a sudden, we take a quick little break here on the show, and look who shows up at the bar. Lisa Page. Lisa Page shows up, and it gets loud in here.
Quiet one.
Ba-woo.
Yeah.
How's everyone doing today?
Good. They're so good.
Here? What's going on?
That's pretty much it.
All right.
These children, we are saving children. Craig's been doing this thing, and let me tell you something. The stuff you told me during the break, I can't get over it. People don't realize the vast numbers and just the prevalence of this. It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
You're talking about some of the stuff that's kind of divinely fallen in your lap in terms of your ability capability of fighting these things. And I know there's people who watch this and they go, how can we get involved? Pray for Craig, pray for the organization, because this is a spiritual battle.
It is.
This is a spiritual battle. There's no question about it. This is when spiritual warfare gets real, to attack the most innocent among us, our children. I have said over and over again, when you start getting real on the abortion issue, those dark spirits show their head. You start getting real on human trafficking, those dark spirits rear their head. You start exposing the cockroaches in the darkness, and it is, I'm telling you, man, the full forces of hell get unleashed. So pray, donate, give, support. You can do that. Veterans 4, the number 4, childrescue.org. You've got a great donation site that's there. makes it very simple for people to do that. What better way? And to just continually equip you guys to be able to do that with monetary needs. And watch the documentary Contraland. Check it out. It will open your eyes to the reality of what's going on around the world, but really in this country. I mean, you think that this happens in Thailand and Vietnam, and you think that it's happening in Mexico with cartels and the various things, and it is. But it's in your neighborhood. It's in your neighborhood. I mean, what you were just talking about, Natalie, where people are just minding their own business, and they see something suspicious, they see something weird, and they're like, oh, well, it's not our place to check in on this thing.
I want to know what is happening. I don't even know the process of what's happening with a child. Are they're stolen? Are they sold by the parents?
Well, let me speak. That Craig, of course, is going to be the voice of authority there. But this is the thing that I learned from him, from watching his stuff. From looking, you call somebody on the phone and says, "How much for 2 girls?"
These are parents.
There's a whole services set up for this stuff.
I just don't even know how it's starting.
There are a lot of ways that the children are being destroyed through this. And the primary way in the United States is Child Protective Services going in and taking children from either abusive parents or viable parents wrongly and saying, we're the authority, we're deeming you an unfit parent. And a lot of times I know it's bad in Arizona, they'll target a single mother who may be working multiple jobs, especially if she's a minority or an immigrant. And she may not understand the legal recourses that she has and assets that she has to advocate for her. And they take her children and they put them in the foster care system. And they go from one family to the next. Some families loving, some families abusive. But eventually the child goes off the books and then sold like a piece of meat in the most demonic and abusive ways. And I won't recount some of the stories here, but imagine innocent little children being tortured to death. It's just not something that we're wired for. It shouldn't be happening here in our beloved USA, man. We're supposed to be better than that. I thought I fought to defend against things exactly like that. I was willing to die if need be to keep that kind of thing from happening, only to come home from deployments and learn that that's happening here and it's rampant. That's the real epidemic. And our mainstream news media is not inclined to empower us with the knowledge that it's going on or how it's happening or how pervasive that it is. That's upsetting to me. I don't like the deceit.
Is that the main source? And then are like kidnapping, children walking home from the bus stop? I mean,
every which way. I've heard that the stats are up to 88% come initially from Child Protective Services. And it's a state-run entity. So some of them are doing great work and some not so great. But 80 to 88%, that's no bueno, obviously, right? So we've got a big problem to solve there nationally. Runaways. The predators realize that there are places that runaways tend to go to. They need shelter and transportation, and don't think the predators aren't already there and watching for them, because they do. And they'll bring them into a little group. Hey, we got a little group. We feed ourselves. We're like a little tribe. You can be part of us. You're cool now. It's okay. And then slowly groom them to, oh yeah, by the way, we do kind of work a little bit to feed ourselves. And then what do we do to feed ourselves? Oh, you're going to entertain this gentleman tonight. And entertain means let him rape you, come to find out. So they work them into this, and most runaways that go on the street, if they're not recovered and go back home within the first 48 hours, end up in the sex trade due to that dynamic. So, and there's body snatchers. I mean, there are kidnappers that grab the kids and sell them for body parts. There is organ harvesting is a real problem, and it's a real crime. And so that's a percentage of it as well. So it's all bad for the kids, right? I mean, if you're a child, you don't want to be sold, you don't want to be raped, and you don't want to be butchered. And I'm just disappointed to see that we've got one political side of the aisle that seems to want to normalize this and saying raping a child is okay. And I want to cut to the end on that, if I may, Chad, and that raping a child, and they want to call it child sex. Raping a child is always going to be rape and not okay, because our brains aren't fully developed until 23 to 25 years of age. Go to any university, the scientists have figured it out. They're like, okay, the frontal lobe, outer cortex, your more sophisticated problem-solving portions of your brain are not fully developed. So as a child, you cannot advocate against a full-grown predatory adult that wants what he wants. And he's good at manipulating and scaring and threatening children, and the child doesn't know how to advocate. And I know all this because I talk to the adults who can articulate back to me now, painfully so, what it put them through, how it shattered their mind and traumatized them, and how they perceive everything differently, how they perceive their spouse differently now, and their friends and their family, and how it changed their lives. And so many of them commit suicide just to the pain and the trauma and the devastation. I'm like, okay, I got to fight this. I got to fight this. I have to expose it and recruit 320 million fellow Americans with me and say, let's fight this because I'm not okay with it.
Yeah.
And sitting around being heartbroken over it's not really my speed. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not wired that way. I do that for about 10 minutes ago. This is horrible. And then I'm going to take a knee and pray over it. And then I'm going to stand up and act. And that's what I did.
Yeah. You guys have got to get behind Craig, support him any way you can, and to the best of your ability. This is a real deal. I know that's one thing, platform-wise, using my platform, and then whatever the days ahead hold in terms of, this campaign run that I'm involved with, it's a big platform issue for me. This border state called Texas. It is a huge port for a lot of this that's going on, and it's happening right under our noses. So it's a sad deal. Tragic. But I'm with you on that. I'm for standing up and fighting.
Yeah.
For standing up and fighting.
Yeah. How convenient for the bad guys if we just forfeit, if we don't even step foot on the game field, and they
That's
just,
what I was gonna say.
we win by default. No,
if we open our borders up like they want to do, that just makes it that much easier for them to do that.
It's unthinkable to not have any control in a day of genuine terrorism. Not you because you wear an American flag on your hat. They want to deem you a terrorist now, right?
Right.
If you're a patriot. But genuine terrorism, ISIS, Al Qaeda, we've got China threat. People can bring backpack nukes, serious diseases across our border. If they're not checked, we're going to get all comers. Yeah. That means some good, some bad. Yeah. And that's just unthinkable. And any developed, legitimate, sovereign nation not having any idea or control of who comes into your country, on what planet does that make sense?
Yeah.
Not the planet I'm standing on.
Pretty quick, you don't recognize your country anymore. Hey, violent crime, speaking of which, it's on the rise. Demonstrators are burning down buildings, looting businesses, threatening people's lives. Criminals get that out-of-jail-free card because of COVID these days. It's a bad deal. They're talking about defunding the police. No wonder people are purchasing guns in historic volume and numbers. You need to be prepared. I get that. And protect your family. Security needs to happen. But that's where U.S. Law Shield comes in. They keep their members informed about ever-changing state and federal gun laws. And as a member, they'll teach you how you can lawfully defend yourself and your family without really some bad repercussions that can come on you. $10.95 a month. You get immediate 24-hour service, 365 days a year. You get access to attorney-answered emergency hotline. You're not going to pay a penny in attorney's fees if the nightmare of actually having to defend yourself, that scenario ever happens to you. U.S. Law Shield is not a law firm. It's underwritten by third-party insurers in many states. State law and insurance regulations apply. I want you to see the website for the applicable underwriting company in terms of coverage. Call 833-8-GUN-LAW to talk with them, 833-8-GUN-LAW, or visit uslawshield.com/Chad. Get a special offer. You got my word. You're going to feel better just knowing you got U.S. Law Shield on your side. 833-8-GUN-LAW or uslawshield.com/Chad. We'll be right back. You guys think that I have it made. You really do. You think that I get to come on this set and sit in this beautiful studio under the watchful eye of Glenn Beck, that guy, and put up with this lovely cast of characters that I get to put up with on the daily. The only people who have any sanity in here are me and Mark. That's the only ones. And Candace, I don't know. She's touch and go. the Hot News Natalie and Lisa. Have you ever seen women, Craig, that just they all talk at the same time and they know what each other's saying?
Yeah, my wife's girlfriends that she grew up with, they when they're in the same room or same car, there's no lull in the firefight. It's just constant,
never
steady,
stops.
full auto barrage. It's actually inspiring.
It's funny. As soon as I say we'll be right back, man, the noise just la 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 la. And then you add Sarah Gonzalez when she's in here, and all of you, and then she's got that. She's Hispanic, so you know what that sounds like.
Well, no one said it couldn't be fun, right?
It's something. I don't understand. I'm sorry, Doug Lee Majors, sitting over there.
$6 million man to you.
Yeah, there you go.
And you still need us.
Yeah.
Women.
I don't want you to go away. I like having you here.
Just want to muffle.
You double my salary?
Yeah, you're going to go to 100% of zero.
Yes.
100%.
Salary doubled, just like that.
Encourage people to be watching Doug's show, The Right Side, with Doug Billings. And this is, I don't see if you've seen this or something. We're kind of change subjects for a second. Mark, would you play that clip number 4, please? Have you guys seen this TikTok video? Watch.
My baby is gay. Yeah, this is him. He's gay. I called up my dad and I said, hey, guess what? Your grandson, gay. Gay, gay, gay. My dad says, you can't just say that your baby is gay before he gets a chance to tell us he's gay. And I go, whoa, 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 whoa. Straight people do it all the time. Little baby boy is born. Oh, he's gonna be a heartbreaker. Little baby girl is born. Oh, you better lock her up when she turns 16. Clearly, people want their children to be straight. Well, my son is gay. Gay. Very gay. Very gay. Gay. Straight people, do you see? You sound ridiculous when you call babies heartbreakers and say that little baby girls need to be locked up. Stop doing this. It's also just creepy. So stop sexualizing babies.
She took the time to make that.
She really did.
I don't think it's real. I think she did that to go viral. I don't
think so?
It's real.
I don't think it, but I see what the final message was. Quit sexualizing your children.
Her example was poor, though. Heartbreaker, he can still, my child could still be gay and be a heartbreaker.
Here's how you
Like you're
stop
use good examples at
sexualizing.
least.
Quit talking about it. Quit making it your primary issue, right?
That's the
Let them
thing.
grow up and play and just be kids.
This whole thing, with wanting to pass legislation of being able to get sex changes and hormone therapies and things like that, at the age of 3. Joe Biden said it was okay for 9 and 10-year-olds, whatever it was, to be able to do those things. Insanity. That's the thing. You're right. If I kept telling somebody, don't touch that button, don't touch that button, don't touch that button, don't touch that button on the wall, you know what I'm going to want to do? Yeah. This person's going to want to go touch the button. If I say, don't look at that, don't look at that. You guys were just pulling up a video a little while ago of a car wreck that happened in, South Lake? Mm-hmm. Where the cops had the car pulled over and somebody, ran into the car?
It wasn't my accident.
It wasn't yours,
No.
Thank God.
No, they lost control. They were traveling 90-something miles an hour, lost control, and flipped on top of the vehicle they had pulled over. And there were 3 children and a mom still in the car.
But that's you can't not watch things like that.
Correct.
Like it's like watching the train wreck. These kind of videos, stuff like this. This we're always talking about it in a way that is not good. It's not good. That's why I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate when we can have these conversations that are honest conversations and remind people that all is not well right now.
Right.
In what's going on in America.
We got some national soul searching to do.
We really do. Well, look at this. Play clip 3 real quick, Mark.
B is for bye. C is for coming out. D is for drive. E is for equality. F is for family. Uh-oh, we missed a page. G is for gay. H is for hope. I is for intersex. J is for joy.
All right. So the kid's reading a book about the gay BCs. The gay BCs.
What was I for? Intersex. Okay.
Yeah. This is what we're normalizing.
Remember what I said yesterday about the throuple raising the kids?
Yeah.
Apparently, we're not doing it right. Something needs to happen.
Yeah. I mean, they're normalizing this.
Yeah, normalizing the bullshit.
The problem is, and this is another form of abuse. We're making children the victim of our social experiments.
Bingo.
They don't have any choice in the matter. They're immediately indoctrinated and brainwashed into your lifestyle that you're trying to normalize, and your social experiment, which ultimately leads to some really bad consequences. We talk about sex changes and gender, dysphoria. 52% of those people, 54% of those people commit suicide. It's a mental illness, and we're taking our kids and we're subjecting them to things like this. So it's across the board. We got to fight for our kids. We got to fight for these kids. We got to fight for the minds of our kids. We send them off to these, and people get pissed when I say this, and that's okay. We send them off to these brainwashing institutions known as public schools. And then we send them off to these academic bubbles where some professor on a college or university campus has never tested his weird theories in the real world but wants to indoctrinate our kids with this stuff. I told my girls, I said, you go off to college. I told all my kids, I said, if you're supposed to go to college and God directs you to go to college, but we're not funding bad ideologies. We're not going to do that. Jerk your ass home so fast and read the Bible to you. It's bad stuff.
Right.
Beat their butts. Mm-hmm. But that's the kind of thing. We've gotten so away from disciplining children and things like that because that's abuse. But what do you call that? I mean, that's abuse.
Yeah, it's another way that they try to deconstruct America, Chad. They take the divine creator himself out of the God-given creation. The differences between men and women, and these lovely ladies should be among the most offended by Administrator Biden's, hey, it's okay for transgender men to compete in women's sports, for example. Yeah. Right? Yeah. No amount of surgery, testosterone, or estrogen is going to change your sex. God made you either a man or a woman. And what we've experienced with these clips is the wussification of America. Yeah.
If only more Americans actually listened to Yuri Besmanov's lectures. Defector from the Russian KGB. He came over to U.S. and Canada 70s and 80s and gave a brilliant series of lectures on ideological subversion and how the communists had decided that they were going to take over the United States without firing a shot, and they were going to break down our morality. They were going to infiltrate our academia, put key figures in the news media. And my God, you can read down their list, 45 goals to do exactly that, and they've accomplished every one of those goals now. It's checkmate. So we're on short final. We're in overtime. We better fight for our freedom now because it's dangerous.
Yeah. Hang tight. Be right back. Craig, thank you for coming on the show. And I want people to get involved. Veterans for, the numeral 4, Child Rescue. Veteransforchildrescue.org. Scroll down, find where you can donate, get involved, check out the Contraland documentary, learn more about Saw Man himself. And it's a great organization. And it's a blessing knowing that guys like you are out there fighting this fight. You mentioned Yaku earlier. There's so many others that I talk with on a weekly basis, sometimes on a daily basis. They're out there doing this, and pray for you guys. Encourage all of our audience to do the same thing. Doug Billings, the right side with Doug Billings. Lisa Page made me do it. Party Foul Steve, Party Foul Nation, Hot News Natalie, just hanging out. Yeah, there you go. Go subscribe, blazetv.com/Chad. Get on here. You don't want to miss anything happening at the Blaze. And, of course, watch Chad.com is where all the fun stuff is. We love y'all. God bless you. We'll see you next Monday night. Bye.